You've heard it all before. Just be consistent on Instagram, niche down, charge your worth, start a blog for SEO, post more behind the scenes. And I'm telling you straight up, most of that is complete and utter BS. Fluffy, regurgitated speak from people who haven't done this for real. So, in today's episode of The Loud Lens, I'm not unpacking the crap advice that keeps photographers broke, burnt out, whatever. I'm giving you the stuff that actually works in my business. No theory, no fluff, just facts. If you want results and not just more hashtags, come in, grab a coffee, grab a vodka, don't mind. Let's go. Now, I will say some of that advice is good, but it's not deep enough. But I need to tell you how I started. I built a career that started essentially as what was my first? I was in the military, then I became a showgirl, and it ended up now with this amazing podcast. I've written two photography books, top sellers, I think you'll find, and people pay me to talk stuff on YouTube and on platforms and seminars, and I run a studio. I'm still growing, still learning, and still hustling, as they say. But let me be clear, I didn't get here by just posting more. I got here by doing the work, by testing, failing, pivoting, and ignoring half the advice that gets repeated like gospel in some blinking Facebook group. You know, hopefully by now, that I've written two books, and the most recent one is No One Effing Cares About Your Photography. And surprise, I stand by it. Because unless you're backing up your work with actual value, story, strategy, and human connection, you're just another person with a camera and possibly a Canva account. The Loud Lens podcast was built because I was sick of the echo chamber that goes around in some of these photography podcasts. Not every single one. There are some amazing ones out there. There are. And my YouTube, that's where I started to show more of behind the scenes, what running a photography business was actually like, not filtered as such, not this fake perfection. And I'll be honest, I've kept it deliberately clunky because I want you to realize I'm not like this massive YouTuber who goes, okay, let me just get the lighting set up for aesthetics. Let me do. I just want to give you the info, show you it in real time, essentially, or as real time as I can. I don't want to do these slow mo shots. Like, I just want you to see what I see, what I'm doing. Okay. I wanted it to be as true as possible. So let me break this down for you. Okay. There's not this, how do I put this? There's some crap we need to retire. The one, charging your worth. Sounds empowering until someone thinks 1,500 is their worth, but they have no portfolio, no brand, no customer journey. You're not charging your worth, you're charging your wish list. It's such a blanket thing. Charge your worth. How do I value myself? What's my worth? And now I'm not saying if you genuinely believe 1,500 is your worth on this job, are other people gonna be it? And you're like, well, that's why you're not getting business because you don't have the stuff to convince people that's your worth, okay? Or even suggest that's your worth. The other one that comes in is just be consistent. If consistency was the secret, every daily poster, every time, you've got that friend that you follow, it's probably me by this time, go follow me on Instagram, would be booked solid, solid, because they're posting every day. Strategic consistency, that's different. It's not mindless posting, it's strategically, right? It's done with a cause and a purpose and a reason. Okay? Otherwise, mindless posting, bloody useless. Right? It is. It's absolutely useless. Niche down, wherever you are in the world. Honestly, half of you haven't even figured out what you like yet. And you're panicking because a coach has said to you, you need to do a signature offer by Tuesday. Ugh. I don't think there's anything wrong in having a little bit of a broader business model, okay? Because I was recently in a Facebook group and someone was talking about, hey, I need some help. I've just shot my last wedding for the year. I'm panicking, and she goes, I don't know what to do. And I just said, like, well, if you can shoot weddings, you can shoot events. If you can shoot events, you could get some bookings. If you can shoot bridal or couple portraits, you can do family portraits because, or couple portraits. If you can do the makeup looks, photograph them, you could probably do headshots. I mean, you don't have to niche down. That could be your main core weddings. I mean, you could have some little side hustles on that. You could. The other one is blog for SEO. Great, but are you actually writing SEO content or just posting Sunday shoot with Sarah, hoping Google gives a crap, like goes, oh my God, that was inspiring. That was amazing. Chuck them to the top. I'm so excited. And then it says, the other one that even I say this, share more of yourself. Great, amazing, good in theory. But showing your coffee cup and talking about your cat isn't really building a brand trust unless your ideal client maybe is a barista with a cat fetish. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. You know, be more you. But I know you have to think like a business person, okay? Now, there are some real examples I'm going to give you. A newborn photographer who I coached had 36 blog posts and not one inquiry. Why? Because they were titled things like baby, I know, what was the one I was trying to think of? Baby Ava shoot and then another newborn shoot. There were no keywords, no call to action, just cuteness for cuteness sake. Okay. Contrast that with a blog that I've seen elsewhere. Mhm. And it was best baby friendly cafes in Northampton, because that's where I'm based, with photos. Guess who was ranked on Google? Right? Like, you could get more bookings because that SEO, it shows you've got education, it shows you know what you're talking about, and it gets people coming in. Someone told me they were trying to do dog photography because everyone told her to niche down. The thing is, she didn't have any real experience with lots of dogs. She'd only had little dogs, okay? And I was like, "Okay, so yeah, some people don't have little dogs, darling." And she was like, I can't shoot that." I said, "Well, you can't be a dog photographer and not shoot all dogs, surely." I mean, there are certain dogs people don't want to shoot. I can, with this latest law that's come in, I mean, it's always a bad owner, never a bad dog, in my opinion. But controversial. I'm not going to get hate. But what I noticed that actually what she was really good was posing the family with their dog. And I said, maybe we need to pivot this. I hate using that term, pivot, if you watch Friends. And I was like, maybe your real magic is actually the candid family shots. And she was like, oh, I'm not so sure. I went, just give it a go. Guess what? Got bookings. I'm not saying she got loads. Let's not be like, oh my God, Khandie, you're an oracle. You're a guru. I'm not. I'm just, I mean, I could be. I guess I could have that job title. Why not give myself that job title? She started to get some more bookings because, people saw that you weren't doing these little dogs. If they only have little dogs, they're like, well, she's not going to do good with my Saint Bernard or my Husky or my Malinois, and they were like, "Okay, so show the families, okay? You'll be fine." I also saw that there was a boudoir shooter who said that, if you say you're expensive, you're doing it right. So she doubled her rates. This is in one of the groups I'm in, and she doubled her rates with no strategy to match, no luxury service upgrade, no buyer journey change, nothing, just kept it the same. But she doubled her rates and her bookings died off. And I remember, like, she was in the group, you could see, like, you could read between the lines, she was really upset. And this isn't her fault as such. This is the culture of lazy advice giving, which is why I started this podcast, why I wrote the books, and why I built my YouTube to show the real grind. Okay, so let's call it out. Most advice you're getting online and from so-called professable, like these people who profess to be coaches, and believe me, I've even seen people who are coaches who are lauded by significant people in the industry, and they do the same thing. They don't give the next bit of information. They don't give them. They tell them like charge your worth, but then don't explain how that worth is worked out. They go, make sure you blog for SEO, but don't explain the SEO side of it. So people who haven't got the inclination to understand what that means go, okay, I'm blogging. That's the right thing, right? That's SEO. No, there's more to it. Most advice you're getting online is recycled, oversimplified, and sometimes out of context. People love dishing up advice because it makes them feel important. I mean, here I am doing it. Even if they're not booked, not profitable, and not even respected in the industry, I think I want to take that back. I don't think people need to be respected. I think that's an appalling thing to do, so I'm going to take that back. But they're not profitable, they're not booked. Stop blindly following the noise and asking, who is this advice really for? Have they actually done what I'm doing? And does this match the stage of business I'm in? Like, I'm not saying don't take advice. Please understand. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm saying filter it through your own experience and your actual business needs. And that's what I talk about in my book. That's what this podcast exists for. That's why I show up on my YouTube, because I think I don't know how to say this, but no, I know how to say this. Because the only advice worth following is the kind that moves you along in your business and doesn't just attack your emotion. Like, it's not just your emotions. It's got to be, you've got to have value in it. If I just said to you, SEO, you'd be like, what is that? What's that about? I don't understand. I feel like we're not getting enough content out there for people. We're not getting better advice. I don't know. If someone said to you SEO, are you actually writing SEO? Because unless you're writing strategic content with keywords, a proper back end work, your free paragraph diary entry about fun with MR, doesn't do sweet F all on Google. Blogging can help, but you actually have to do more, okay? It's like when people say post more behind the scenes. It's not all behind the scenes is equal. An iPhone time lapse of you fluffing cushions for 12 minutes isn't actually engaging, but maybe a hyperlapse of people coming in out your studio, provided we got consent. That would be more behind the scenes. A time lapse of you getting the studio ready. That makes sense. There's stuff in it. I I don't. I also think we need to stop shaming people who, don't have a niche. Like, I don't think that's fine. I don't think that's okay, okay? Anyway, I don't know if this has helped, and I know that I've quite openly encouraged you to follow my stuff because I'd like to think I don't do the fluff. But yeah, you can go grab my books on Amazon. You don't have to, okay? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You don't have to. You could listen to this one, podcast and all the other podcasts. You don't have to. But what you do have to do is take responsibility for your business. You have to start looking at stuff. When someone says SEO and you're like, what does that mean? Don't just go, oh, I'll just write a blog. Think about all the other things that goes into that blog. And if you don't know, and that's 100% okay, Google it. Go in a search engine of your choice and look it up. There are many people who talk about what SEO is. There are many people who talk about this in a very simplistic way. And there's no shame in that because I had to learn somewhere. When I started doing more social media, I decided to go on a social media analytical course because I didn't want to know about the content. I wanted to know about the analytics because I want to know how I get to check if it works. Do you know how many business people I speak to and they don't even look at their analytics on Facebook, for example, where it's free and you can just access it through the business suite? They're like, I don't look at it. Why don't you look at it? How do you know what adverts work? You can start looking at, okay, the adverts with loads of words aren't working, but the ones with smiley faces are. Oh my God, maybe all my adverts need to have smiley faces if that's relevant to what you're sharing. But they're not. People aren't. They're not doing it. They're just not. And I'm like, it's there. But the problem is people often want you to sort of get an idea of what you need to do, realize you're struggling, so you go back to them and do a paid involvement with them. So maybe they'll pay you do paid coaching. A lot of this stuff is out there for free. And some of these coaches, so-called coaches, and you can't see me, I'm doing air quotes here, on are just people. Here comes, I can feel you getting your pitchforks ready. Are just people who went on a course to learn how to coach people and they're regurgitating somebody else's content because it's a sales funnel for them to get more people to join their course so they can talk to you. They earn the money and then they'll do another course and do that. And then they'll teach you how to run a course and it just keeps snowballing. Okay. I don't do that. It's all out there. Some of my stuff is paid. And it is because there's a lot of involvement, but I don't hide anything. And there are many people also like me out there. I'm not saying I am the only person. I'm not on an island. There are many of us. But if you are not getting the full answers, don't go look it up for yourself. If you're still not getting the answers, drop me a message. I can try and help where I can, and many other people will. There are many people out there doing good advice on YouTube, on Twitter. Is it called X now? I don't think anyone's on that anymore. There are many people on Instagram. It is not all Canva pictures. It is it's a business, darling. I've done this in a few podcasts. We need to get you going. But I have a question for you. What is the worst piece of photography advice you've ever followed, and did it cost you? Let's air it out. You're not alone in this BS. I can do mine. One of mine. She's gonna say it. I am. I'm gonna say it. The worst bit of advice I had was someone told me when I first started. So if you know the story about how I got my studio, it was really quickly. Someone told me, oh, do you know what you need to do? You need to go flyer, right? Well, at the time I had very little work in the studio space. And because my studio was open and it was opening even a week, I did not. I did this flyer, this like leaflet flyer thing. I showed it, yeah, that's fine. Just done is done. And I said, yeah, well, it was atrocious. It was atrocious. I remember I didn't put it for anyone's doors, so I don't do that, but I put it in a few cafes. I literally went around all these cafes and these shops and everything. I'd left them there. And I got home and I looked at this leaflet and went, oh God, it's awful. It's literally awful. And it was like, I think it was like 20 to 5. So all these places were shutting. I ran back round, got all my leaflets back and put them in the recycling bin. Every single one, because it did not represent my brand. It did not represent my images that I was going for. I literally had to cobble it together because in order to get it printed for when we opened, I needed those images quickly. They were terrible. And I'm quite proud to say I don't think anybody saw them except the person I showed it to and myself. Awful, but it cost, I think it was like £75 to get them printed and sent to me so quickly. Oh, it was awful. It was awful. Anyway, until next time. Keep showing the world why you're not just another person with photographer, and I'll see you soon. This is The Loud Lens. Khandie out. Am I cool enough to say that? Probably not, but I've said it.